Coming up.
It was a whirlwind. It was crazy times.
We had 3 number ones.
From pop fame and fortune
My job was go out, sing, work, bring it home.
to a life of blues.
I'm so sorry.
It's a Pandora's box.
Vanessa Amorosi's bitter financial feud
This court case has cost you more than money.
with her own mother.
Have a good day, Dal.
It was a solid line drawn in the sand, and everyone had to pick a side.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
It's hard to believe it's been 25 years since Vanessa Amorosi wowed the world with her powerful performances at both the opening and closing ceremonies of the Sydney Olympic Games. Back then, she was 19 and starting out on what would become a brilliant career. Outwardly, Vanessa wore her success, along with the wealth fame brought, with ease. But behind the scenes, not everything was shiny. For the past decade, the pop star has been locked in a bit of financial dispute with her own mother. As Nine's Tracy Grimshaw reports, it's something Vanessa has not spoken about publicly until now.
From the late 90s and into the noughties, Vanessa Amorosi was a household name.
Vanessa Amorosi!
Never thought that you'd be mine.
Her catchy pop tunes regularly became Australian anthems. Where did you learn to sing like that? Where did that voice come from, Vanessa?
I don't know, it just came out.
Do you mean you didn't have lessons?
No.
It seemed Vanessa Amorosi had it all. She was young, talented, and raking in the money. How much were you making?
Like around 10 mil.
But the dizzying heights didn't last. Despite her early fame and fortune, 15 years later, Vanessa found herself deep in debt. How surprised were you when you found out that you couldn't service that mortgage?
Wasn't happy, because it just didn't make any sense.
Tonight, Vanessa Amorosi finally breaks her silence.
I knew once I started asking the questions that this would create a shitstorm.
About the grueling court case
Why are you doing this to your daughter?
that shattered the bond between mother and daughter
I trusted my mum. I trusted her.
and triggered unspoken trauma. Did your biological dad hit you, and did he hit your mum? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
When you were very young. I'm going to let you take a deep breath.
Thank you.
How old were you when you decided that you wanted to be a singer for a living?
I never really wanted to be a singer. I know it sounds crazy, but I
Wow.
wanted to go to the army.
The army?
Yeah, because all of our family were entertainers. I'd grown up in, like a musical family. And so I was like, I'm going to be a point of difference. I'm going to go to the army.
But with music in Vanessa's blood, she was always destined to be on the stage.
So daggy.
How old are you here?
I would have been 12, yeah, for sure.
Vanessa was just a teenager when she was scouted singing at a suburban restaurant by music producers Jack Strom and Mark Holden, who quickly signed her up. It was a moment Mark will never forget.
We walked into this Russian restaurant and Vanessa, just this young voice, I just went, oh my God, that's the real deal right there. So Jack and I certainly changed Vanessa's life, but the truth is Vanessa changed my life.
How so?
I wouldn't have been on Australian Idol without Vanessa. I wouldn't own the house I live in right now without Vanessa.
In 2001, at the peak of her fame, Vanessa was earning enough that she could buy her first home. It was this semi-rural 20-acre property on Boundary Road in Narre Warren, southeast of Melbourne. Little did she know it would ultimately destroy the family.
I remember being in Germany. My schedule at that time was insanity, and a large amount of money had come in. You know, it was like, okay, well, I can go purchase my first house.
So what did you originally visualise for that property?
Like, I love farms, I love acreage. So I wanted to buy a property that had acreage and I could get so many animals. I wanted so many animals.
The property cost $650,000, paid from Vanessa's earnings. She and her mother Joyleen were equal title holders.
I knew from the beginning of purchasing that house that she wanted it. I remember her saying, "This is my dream house. This is the house I always wanted."
Did that worry you, given it was your first house?
Not at all. It's my mum. I really trusted my mum. I was very close with my mum.
Vanessa's family left the house she grew up in nearby, and together they all moved into the Boundary Road property. Back then, it was happy days. Did you want everyone to move in?
I didn't really mind. I was really close with my family. I was used to being with everybody. You know, like, I felt like I took care of everybody, and I didn't really care, you know, like who lived in the house, and none of that stuff bothered me.
4 years later, Vanessa bought a second home for her to live in. Other properties were also bought to form what she hoped would be her nest egg. Some assets were held in a trust, which was managed by Vanessa's mother and then her stepfather. There was a quiet sort of point in your career from 2003 to about 2008 when you weren't generating a lot of money. Did anyone say to you, spending a lot of money here, not earning much?
No, because I was still doing a lot of corporates. I was still travelling a lot. I was working in out of studios. I was still getting royalties. There was still money coming in.
How close were you to managing that money?
I knew that I was the breadwinner. My job was go out, sing, work, bring it home. And I thought, well, I've been working my ass off.
In 2011, Vanessa moved to the United States. She'd just released her 4th album and had another smash hit. Shortly after, she bought this impressive horse property in California with a $1.2 million loan. You must have been just loving yourself sick.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Had lovely views. It was, my dream home.
But her bubble would soon burst when she was told by her mum she couldn't afford to stay there and may need to sell up. How surprised were you when you found out that you couldn't service that mortgage?
I wasn't happy because it just didn't make any sense. And then that's when the questions started arising. Well, hang on. And I started having warning bells.
Coming up, mother and daughter go head-to-head in court.
I think she banked on I would never have the guts or the courage to have this go public.
At a studio in Melbourne, Vanessa Amorosi is preparing for a big comeback tour. She's putting a new twist on her old classics and is looking forward to celebrating 25 years as a singer and songwriter.
That one drum beat that we were talking about.
But before she steps out onto the stage, she wants to close the chapter on a painful part of her life.
I feel like that's the elephant in the room. Like, people want to know about it. Why would you do this to your family? Why would you do this to your mum? Like, trust me, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not a good time. That's not a good time.
You have been through a massive ordeal.
Hasn't been fun.
Have a good day, Dal.
Last year, Vanessa successfully sued her mother for that first house she bought, the family home. It was an ugly court case that played out excruciatingly in public.
Vanessa, is there anything you'd like to say?
For this very private person.
Is there anything you're after?
For a girl who runs a very tight ship emotionally and doesn't let her stuff out, you've had to let a lot of stuff out.
I really do feel like my mum knowing how private I am and, where this comes from, me being very sealed, I think she banked on I would never have the guts or the courage to have this go public. And so I would just walk away. And it took a lot of buckling down to go, no, I'm not walking away. Because if I walk away with a debt and no assets to pay the debt. That's where I was left.
Since she first became famous as a teenager in the late 90s, Vanessa's earnings had been managed through several trust accounts. One of those included the family home, which Vanessa bought in 2001 and quickly paid off. Another trust, managed by her mother and then her stepfather, oversaw assets which the performer later planned to sell to secure her dream home in California. But when her mother told her she couldn't afford to keep her house in the US, Vanessa was baffled. You didn't own anything else. Everything else had big mortgages. Did anyone make you aware of that, Vanessa?
No. I mean, I asked questions and the answers, there was never any oh my goodness, we've got all these mortgages, we're going under. There was never any of that conversation.
So you had no idea that they were not being paid down at all?
No, those loans didn't get obviously paid off like they should have.
There is no suggestion her trusts were mismanaged or her money misappropriated, but Vanessa couldn't understand what had happened. How much do you think you were making during that time?
Around 10 mil.
So there's no chance that during those quiet years when you weren't working as much?
I wish I was more of a rock star. I would have way better stories, but no.
There's no chance that you frittered it away or that you spent more than you even thought you were spending and ate into your capital. There's no chance.
There's no way.
Right.
There's no way.
Vanessa turned to her former manager, Mark Holden, for help.
Yeah. And you've got to find a way to pay it.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And forensic accountants were brought in to investigate, but couldn't provide all the answers. Based on the documents you were able to access, was she earning enough money that she should have been able to service a $1.2 million mortgage?
What a great question. And of course the answer is yes.
You're not alleging, and neither are we, that your money was misappropriated or mismanaged. That was not the case that you made in court. The court case you fought about a very specific issue.
Yeah.
Still needing to pay off that old loan, Vanessa argued in court the Boundary Road property was hers, bought with the money she'd earned as a teenager. But her mum, Joyleen, said it was hers, that back in 2001 she and her daughter had struck a deal around the kitchen table where at any point in the future Joyleen could repay Vanessa the original purchase price and own the place outright. Ultimately, the crux of the issue that you fought it out in court about was whether or not you had this agreement with your mother to pay you $650,000 at any point in the future. Now, ultimately, your mum and your stepdad sold the house that they owned and they paid $710,000 off your $1.2 million mortgage in LA. What did you think they were getting out of it?
I thought it was my own money. I had assets. We were meant to be selling my assets, and they went and sold the first house and shoved it into the loan. I never asked.
Can you not remember any conversation that you had with her?
At the kitchen table? Absolutely not.
The court found no evidence that the pact existed and described Joyleen's evidence about the alleged agreement as vague, changeable, and inconsistent. In August last year, it ruled the Boundary Road home belonged to Vanessa. But it also ordered Vanessa to pay back her mother the money she had given her from the sale of her own house, plus interest. A judgment Mark finds bewildering.
It's something that I profoundly disagree with the judge on, but that's the nature of courts. That's what appeals are for. But the truth of the matter is, my lesson from being 13 years as a barrister is that sometimes you get the justice that you can afford. And by afford, I mean financially, but also emotionally. And this process for Vanessa has been so emotionally devastating.
To anyone watching this now who might have formed the conclusion that Vanessa, the, pop star, booted her poor mother and stepdad out of their home, what would you say to them?
Vanessa was so generous with her family, she denied them nothing.
Despite her best efforts, Vanessa couldn't hold on to her first LA dream home and was forced to downsize to another property in the US. So you've ended up with the house that you live in America, and you've cleared the debt that had been sitting there
clean.
since, 2011?
Everything's clean.
But as you'll see, the full cost of the conflict goes way beyond money. Oh, this is hard for you, I know. I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Vanessa Amorosi is used to belting out a song. In fact, performing was always her safe place. But when it comes to opening up about her family, she very often struggles to speak.
Sorry, Tracy.
Please don't apologise. Even so, she understands people want to know what's really at the core of the legal stoush that pitted her against her own mother. And that involves a tightly guarded family secret. You said before that you wanted to do this interview because you didn't want the court case and the dispute to be the elephant in the room for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. I respect that. I think we need to talk briefly about the other elephant in the room that you had never talked about before, that you spoke about in court. Because it's a big part of who you are, and it's a big part of what... I know, I'm so sorry. It's so hard when you've been conditioned not to talk about it. It's such a lot.
I'm so sorry.
You don't have to apologise for this.
It's a terrible Pandora box. It's just, yeah. Okay. Yep, sorry.
I think it's a Pandora's box that lots of families deal with.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I also understand that this court case has cost you more than money.
Yeah.
It's cost you your family. I feel like it's time.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be that person that, goes on to talk about, the things that are really excited, but then doesn't address what's gone down publicly, because it's like, well, why won't you talk about it? But it is opening a box of emotions, of trauma. It's digging up something that I'd like buried. And it's attached to many different dynamics within that household. Like, it's not just about the conversations and the money, and, it's about the dynamics of how things ran.
Okay, explain that to me, because at the core of this, let me say it, because it's probably easier for me to say this than you.
Yeah.
There was domestic violence in your family with your biological father.
Yeah.
When you were very young.
I think, when you have this happen behind closed doors, you cling. I think because of my experience growing up in a household like that, I really felt like I wanted to protect my mum.
Did your biological dad hit you, and did he hit your mum? Is that what we're talking about here?
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I don't like talking about it because it's not just about me.
No.
Because, he's passed away. But maybe that helps people have a little bit of insight to the bond that was made between my family.
That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
because your mum was a domestic violence survivor, you're a domestic violence survivor, that forms bonds for life, generally. Vanessa was still a child when her mum Joyleen finally split from her father, Frank Amorosi.
Once Dad left, I would do what we weren't allowed to do, made noise. And God, did I make noise. I sang loud, high. All of my energy went into that. It was like a kettle over boiling, I guess, you know. And that's where the vocal comes from. It comes from a dark place. But it's been my survival.
I can see the scars it's left on you. What sort of scars do you think it's left on your mother?
Not just her.
Vanessa says the trauma caused by her father persisted even after he left.
Like the weirdness that happens behind closed doors. Wanting to keep people out. Like creating this barrier that everybody is the enemy. You know, I've been raised where, especially when I became successful, is to not trust anybody. You know, everybody's out to get you. Your friends, your boyfriend, anybody, all of them out to get you. They don't want you, they want what you have. So you become very isolated and you cling to the people in that barrier.
So Vanessa says when she began questioning her own mother about money, it was seen as the ultimate betrayal of trust.
I knew once I started really getting into heavily asking the questions that this would create a shitstorm among the family behind closed doors.
But the family rift didn't end in the courtroom. In April, Joyleen did this interview with A Current Affair.
It was after she had the aneurysm she changed. Apparently it was a brain aneurysm and she had to have all this medication.
Can we settle the brain aneurysm thing?
It's a straight up lie. It's a straight up lie. Do you know how angry that makes me when I listen to this person speak in front of a whole country, taking away my credibility that I've lost my mind, or someone got in my ear that I'm so easily manipulated or stupid? Like hearing that, like ruptured aneurysm and, you know, on all this medication, it's infuriating because it's like you're taking away my credibility. You don't want anyone to listen to me. But I can't say that I'm too shocked because I'm conditioned to that. And this has happened to me since I was a kid, where if I rang the bell on something, that it would be like, oh, Vanessa, you know, and it would be like, oh, you know, she's just clumsy, or there'd be an excuse. And I just learnt to shut up.
But this time, Vanessa Amorosi won't be silenced.
Money changes people, so it would be nice where it's just not even a thought. Just 15% goes, gets locked away, and it's not even up for discussion.
She's using her pain to advocate for legislative change. And she's been working with child safety advocate Hetty Johnston to lobby governments for a law to establish untouchable trust accounts to protect the earnings of child entertainers, so no one else has to go through arduous court cases like she did. What will Vanessa's law look like and how will it work?
So Vanessa's law is built on Coogan's law, which comes from the United States. So if your child earns anything over $5,000 a year, then the law is triggered that a trust account has to be opened and 15% of that child's gross earnings need to go into that trust account.
What sort of response have you had from governments at various levels? Because I know you've been sounding people out.
They're interested in it, but I think they're as oblivious to this gap in the legislation as I am. This should already be here. It's been going on over 80 years in the United States. We can do it. It's whether or not there's enough impetus for government, enough noise for government to react.
Do you believe if 15% of your money had been kept aside until you were grown up, you would still have your family?
I want to believe it would be less like this. I'd want to hope.
Your mum has said that she still loves you and wants you to come back to the family.
No.
You can't see a way that that can happen?
There's nothing real in that. In all honesty, there's nothing real in that.
So that bond has been shattered completely by this dispute.
You know how people say, like, a mother's love is unconditional? Mine comes with conditions. And that's the only way I can make it simple.
For Vanessa, family is now her little boy Killian and close mates like her musical director Rod Bustos, who's been a friend since childhood and will be by her side when she tours Australia next year. You were telling me that your friends are your family these days. Is Rod part of that family?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
The annoying brother, yeah.
It's been a long and hard-fought road, but finally, Vanessa Amorosi says she feels stronger than ever. And she's reclaimed her voice.
I'm happy. Like, I'm not upset, which I guess people think, maybe you should be bitter, but I'm not.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you back here touring next year.
I'm very excited.
I know this has been difficult. Thank you. You've been brave. It was never going to be easy for you.
No.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
If you or anyone you know is a victim of domestic violence, support is available. Call 1-800-RESPECT, which is 1-800-737-732. Hello, I'm Adam Hegarty. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.